Still Java with Waptek. Speed challenge. Assertion. If you live on a globe, if you think you live on a globe, that has the equator moving at 1,000 miles an hour, and the planet you're on is orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour, 666, why won't you look at those so-called planets with a camera and a telescope? Did your brain fall out? The planets in the sky show twinkling. Some of you may know what this is about. Just hold your tongue for a second. So they are in some type of fluid, the waters above and below them, or they're being shadowed. The shadow knows. Or they're not solid. Some of the planets are gas giants, but okay, here we go. Or they are transparent. Interesting. That's not really accurate, but we'll go from there. Or they're light years away. Okay, now we're getting to that point. Next assertion by the same person. Don't leave me any stupid comments. It's not a globe. That's all there is to it. The globe's dead. Yeah, it's that person. If NASA says otherwise, NASA lies about everything else then. NASA also says you need to drink water and breathe regularly or you'll die. Please prove them wrong. Next. And I mean, really do a good job of it. Get in a container. Next. As a federal agency, NASA receives its funding from the annual federal budget passed by Congress. If you have a complaint about any of this, either become a congressman, or contact your congressman and tell them to defund NASA. That's it. Everything else that anybody's doing, including doing GoFundMes and Change.orgs, demanding NASA do something, is well, ideological and social mass debating. This is bullcrap. Don't do it anymore, please. But anyway, they get 0.486% of the $4 trillion budget for 2016. Jacques Gite. 19.3 billion per year for the 4 years. Every 4, or 55 million a day, spread out over everywhere. But that's profit. Okay, now let's just cover this. Saturn twinkling, or Uranus is twinkling. Okay, I'll shut up. Next, while there may be occurrences of dust or material like ice crystals from, let's say, a comet passing, the space between planets is, if you simplify it down, a vacuum. So what's causing twinkling if you see it? Well, they're not light years away, so they're not equivalent. They're not transparent or in fluid. There's no waters above. Because there isn't. No, there isn't a glass dome over the Earth either. Because there isn't. And they don't have any confirmed life on them either. There's an assertion there. If you're claiming that these planets are basically holograms, then why do you also claim in some of your statements other places that they also have life on them? You're just picking your random conspiracy theories and just mixing them together and refusing to acknowledge that I have a worldview that depends on all of these things either meshing together, or if they contradict each other, I'd like to fix the contradictions, because they, and as of right now, there aren't any contradictions in reality. I'm not talking about politics and Hillary Clinton. That's nothing to do with reality. Trust me on that. Neither is Trump. I think Trump is literally a robot at this point. Seriously, I think he's a joke. But whether gravity works is consistent with the rest of it. There isn't any inconsistencies. Saying there is an inconsistency doesn't make an inconsistency happen. That's called lying and propaganda and BS, because these people have two standards for things. A flat earther will claim every picture of the Earth that shows that it has curvature or that it's a round object is CGI or fake or whatever, or composites, even if you can find examples that aren't composites and are actual full-sized images. Because it's a cop-out, and it's done to be infuriating to people by refusing to prove any of their assertions and giving you a long laundry list of things to go look up. You go look it up. No, you have to give me what you looked up to find this, so I know why you think this way. And they avoid saying that because they know that they would end up just pointing to, if they were being honest, some web board that tells them how to be an argumentative jerk right out of a Monty Python sketch. Yes, I'm referring to that particular sketch. This is just like claiming everybody else is not really a person, dehumanizing them, or claiming that they're bots, or claiming that they're part of an organized group like the Illuminati or something. This is all about making sure that they never actually have to back up anything. This is intellectual cowardice. And then the same statement is, well, maybe we should give these people equal time for them claiming that the flying spaghetti monster is real. No. Why? Because no. Because that's bull crap. Bullwinkle crap. This isn't real. Unless they can come up with a consistent universe where they don't poke holes in it by claiming the planets are holograms and they have life on them, because that's where the grays are. Next. The twinkling you're seeing in the sky from stars and planets are both caused by one source, the atmosphere. Disturbance in its density, movement in it, heat, the jet stream. Any of these, and it can happen at any angle. It's just more prominent at a down angle. There are stars, if you look at them at a certain angle on certain conditions, they won't twinkle. It's sometimes called lucky photography or lucky astronomy photography. You can also look at a planet straight on, and it can twinkle because there's a bunch of air activity going on, or it could be a cloud going by that's almost transparent. Water vapor is denser than air, but it's still transparent because it's water. Water is transparent. Anyway, if you could see the stars in space the same way that Hubble does, planets and stars don't twinkle. They don't twinkle because they don't. Even on the moon, because there's not really enough of an atmosphere, the stars don't twinkle, nor do the planets, nor does the Earth. But then again, if you have exhaust out of a car, it'll make everything twinkle. It's called well, it's not a hologram. It's also called a mirage. You see this from a car a couple of blocks away on a hot day. Why wouldn't you assume this would affect planets a long distance away through thousands of times more air with a lot more fluctuations? You might see planets twinkle low on the horizon. You might also see them twinkle if you're looking straight up, too. It just depends on the air behavior. But you alone are responsible for finding the truth. Don't let one thing stop you from seeking the truth. Look them up, pun intended. The more atmosphere you're looking through, the more likely you're to see it. But you can also have situations where you're looking through the maximum amount of atmosphere and get no twinkling from stars or planets. This is a very, very oddly, specifically, on purpose, stupid statement from flat earthers. Actually, it's not. If you've been waiting for this moment. Dear astronomy teachers, stop oversimplifying things by telling everybody planets can't twinkle. I've heard this from a bunch of people. I grew up in Eastern Oregon. I grew up in an area that has thermals all the time. Everything twinkles in the sky. A light bulb 4 blocks away is going to shimmer in the moonlight too, because it does. So why would you make these stupid generalizations in your college courses or schools? Because you're idiots. This is an example of an extremely stubborn, incorrect statement. Planets shimmer in the sky and twinkle just like stars do sometimes. They don't twinkle as much because the angle of this pixel over here, let's see if I can get one. I don't have anything to pixel. I can't pixel. Anyway, if I had 1 pixel back here, it would twinkle more because literally it's shimmering between 1 pixel and another of the computer camera. My head won't, but you could have the effect of heat rays or whatever if I was in a steamed up room maybe. Okay, this is getting to be a bad analogy. Let's just go on with it. Just go with it. A tiny pinpoint in the distance is going to show not shimmering, but movement. It'll wiggle around. But an entire planet doesn't show it so much. That's all. It's the same amount of angle. You can do this experiment, this is the practical upshot, and you can do this if you're a college student by waiting for a day where it was really hot and the sun's gone down and you know it's going to rain. But it's going to rain over there. and you know the wind's blowing left or right or whatever. But anyway, point your telescope through at a planet and show your teacher, see, because tonight that planet lines up pretty close with the star. You can see them both shimmering the same amount. It's just less noticeable with the planet. Therefore, stop telling people planets don't twinkle in the sky. The light level doesn't seem to change as much because there's a lot more surface area. They're more of a disk rather than a pinpoint. Stars, most stars, not all, look like a pinpoint. That's really what's causing this. And what's causing this kind of... this is an example of don't hand people another incorrect statement to beat you over the head with. Yes, this is the fault of a flat smurfer sending me this message, but this is also the fault of our academia oversimplifying things sometimes, which is also the subject of another video that might be much more useful than this one. But yeah, this is an example of astronomy majors and teachers oversimplifying things to the point that they cause confusion, and it's their fault. But this person took advantage of it because they wanted to prove something that isn't true. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And everything should be as simple as possible, but not more than that.